Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Violent Hippie podcast. We still don't have a name for this shindig, so I don't. Have you guys thought of any names?
How about Open Matt?
I like the hippie circle.
Open Matt, Open Mike,
Open Mic Matt.
Open Mike.
I like
Matt.
the hippie circle.
Yeah, I like the hippie circle.
Hippie circle.
I like
Drum
that.
circle.
It's
maybe.
not a circle though.
It's not a circle.
It's a square.
But we're still forming a hippie circle. You know, like the South Park episode where the hippies take over South Park. Yeah. Damn hippies.
All right, whatever. Yeah. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to whatever show this is called. We don't know what it's called yet. But so tonight's guests, we have Rachel motherfucking Fiscus.
I am Rachel motherfucking Fiscus.
And we have Cody Vannard.
That's me.
I was polite.
Yeah.
Cody Vannard and Garrett, what's your name again?
Garrett Forrest, the #1 blue belt at Violent Hippie, a.k.a. the Violent Hippie OG, a.k.a. Nick Fury.
Like the OG.
There you go. Yeah. All right. So so our listeners have already met Rachel, my co-host, and we're trying to have different guests on, weekly. So go ahead and introduce your guys' selves real quick. Quick little bio, maybe who you are, how old you are, where you're from, a little jiu-jitsu background or whatever, what have you. Go for it.
All right, yeah. So I'm Cody Vannard, like Mitch introduced.
Talk into the mic.
And 34 purple belt at Violent Hippie Academy. I started jiu-jitsu back in 2013, something like that. Just started, actually I followed Mitch in. He was a white belt and watched him go to a few tournaments. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to try that out myself. I did 2 years of high school wrestling, so I wasn't completely new to grappling, but just got bit by the bug and been doing it for about 10 years off and on.
Yeah. Garrett?
My name's Garrett Forrest. And
Hello, my name's Garrett Forrest. I like wrestling.
I love jiu-jitsu. No, I love jiu-jitsu. I'm a blue belt at Violent Hippie. Just turned 22 last week. Started rolling. It's been a year now.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. It was fun.
22.
Lost a lot of money at the casino.
Yeah.
No birthday luck. Alexander Volkanovski did not come through.
What were you playing?
I play a lot of blackjack.
I hate blackjack.
I love blackjack.
I love roulette and
Love
3-card
blackjack.
poker.
Roulette takes too long.
You just don't know how to play it.
It takes too long.
I haven't gambled
No, you
once.
just don't know how to play it.
I know how to play roulette.
Blackjack
I'm good at
takes
it. It
longer
takes
than
too long.
roulette.
No, it doesn't.
It for sure does.
table?
All you have to do is just spin that little wheel.
But then they have to account for everybody's chips on the board, and they don't just take the cards, deal new cards. Either you win your hand or you lose your hand.
I mean, you're making decisions. That time goes by so fast. Freaking blackjack, you're trying to do math in the back of your head.
The
It's
last
just-
time I
hate
played roulette,
blackjack.
I had won blackjack. I'd won like $300 or $400 playing blackjack, and then we were walking out of the casino, and I was like, "Should I put it all on black?" And they were like, "Yeah, let's do it." So I just put it all in black, and it hit, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
That's awesome.
Yeah, just doubled the money and then walked away.
That's awesome.
I have
That's
a
the way
stra-
to do it.
I have a strategy. I play the sides, and I put money down on actually 2, so I have a 2/3 chance of making it. And if I make one of them, then I get money back. And sometimes I'll play like the colors, and even
don't
and
count
not if I'm
cards?
doing well. I do count cards. I would play 21 with my I called it blackjack with my students like almost every day, and like I got like to the point where they'd be like, "Hit me." Like they were like, it's so funny. I was like, I hope they don't go home and tell their parents this, but it's just, I mean, I guess I'm not trying to, when I'm at the casino, I'm getting like drinking, having a good time. I'm not trying to do simple math in the back of my head.
I know. That was a Raid Man joke.
Blackjack, I've never had luck on blackjack either.
I always have luck on blackjack.
I've always had good luck on blackjack. Yeah, except one time when I was in New Zealand, I went to a casino there, and I remember it was funny because like growing up or like in my early 20s, like, I would go to casinos and didn't have a lot of money, was living paycheck to paycheck basically. But I would
time to go.
Yeah, and that's like I wanted to go. I was
you
like,
want to gamble?
Yeah,
you are gambling.
It was the
that's
excitement,
for sure.
you know?
This is rent,
But
baby.
you know, I was playing like $20 hands or whatever, but yeah, I would win like all night. I would win like end up winning like $600, but it took me all night because I'm doing like low hands or whatever. And then I remember, kind of always enjoying it. And then I went to New Zealand and I like was actually, you know, had some money and shit. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go fucking play some blackjack with some, you know, some heavy hands, you know.
I'm going to wear a suit this time.
Yeah, no, definitely not a suit. But I was like, you know, flexing a little bit. Just, all right, let's do $300 hands. And lost like 3 in a row. And I was like, fuck blackjack. I was like, why do I play this?
Yeah.
This is so stupid.
I actually have a pretty cool story about the night I fell in love with roulette. I was in South Africa, and I was volunteering, teaching PE. And anyway, I started playing. This guy, some random guy sitting next to me, is the one who told me about the strategy. And I made probably I think it was like 11,000 Rand that night, which 11,000 Rand is probably maybe $2,000, but it gets you like a really long way. So this was towards like the end of my stay in South Africa. So I won all this money. I ended up extending my trip for 3 weeks. And then the school that I was volunteering at, I went to this huge department store and I bought them all new PE equipment and gave it all to the little kids. Some of the kids didn't have shoes. I bought them shoes that brought tears to their eyes because they were so stoked. It was really cool. But anyway, I was so stoked. I ran out of the casino. I was like, I made it. And the other volunteers were like, you better settle down. There was people behind the bushes ready to rob me of my money that I just made.
And at that time, you didn't even know jiu-jitsu.
No, I didn't. I didn't even know how to fight.
You'd never even probably put someone to sleep.
I could just, no, I didn't. Not like
was that
tonight.
your first time today putting someone
Yes,
to sleep?
it was. Yes,
I've
it
never
was.
actually put somebody to sleep. I always tap.
Rachel's put a black belt to sleep.
Yeah.
And you haven't.
I have not. I'm not.
You've never been put to sleep? Or you have never put someone to sleep?
This is a funny story. Only time I've ever been put to sleep, I brought my buddy Jamie to an open mat. And then it was an open mat right before we all went snowboarding up at Snowshoe. So we snowboard all day, and now Jamie kind of has the bug. So we're at the bar, and I'm sitting down, and he comes up and he starts choking me. And it was tight, but I was like, fuck this guy. I'm about to get out of this thing. And then I'm like, I'm not going to get out. So I kind of tapped him, but he didn't realize I tapped because we were drunk. And so then he let go of me, and I was out cold, and none of my friends knew because I was just what happened? I woke up, and I legitimately thought I had a freak out or something. I was like, what just happened? Yeah, only time ever in the middle of a bar by somebody who trained one day. And I was like, come to jiu-jitsu, come to jiu-jitsu.
This is Violent Hippie's #1 blue belt.
All you have to know is that the rear naked choke, then you're good to go, right?
Yeah.
Mitch, how did you feel when I choked you out today? You seemed pretty out of it.
I felt like I was out for 10 minutes. I didn't know how, once I started to kind of come to, I was I understood that I was in my gym, and I was like, everybody's staring at me, and I was like, am I being weird? And I was like, how long have I been laying here? And I was just like, is everybody thinking I'm weird as fuck? What's going on?
That's exactly how I felt at the bar, though. That exact same experience of just am I having a freak out right now? Why is everyone staring at me? What happened?
I was very confused, and and I was just like, wait, am I making an ass of myself? What's going on? And then the blood started to come back, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good.
That's funny.
I had the same thing happen to me as Garrett. Drunk guy jumped on my back, choked me, tapped, didn't even feel it, but they let me go, and I fell and hit the curb.
Oof.
Was it your buddies, or you were?
Yeah. You jumped on my back, and I was
you got knocked out.
And I grabbed his wrist and leaned forward at the waist, and then he sunk it in, and I was like, okay. And when I stood back up, it was super tight, and then they're like, I think he's out, and they let me go, and I just went boop, and my face caught the curb, and then I woke up sitting up against there, and I was like, everything all right? And everyone's like, oh my God, he doesn't know. And it was just what's that Chris Farley movie? He's like, not so much here or
Tommy
here.
Boy.
Yeah, and I had a cut eyebrow and everything like
right
that.
Here.
I was all drunk, so it bled a lot. It was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have
Good
to get
times being
stitches?
choked out. No, I was a corpsman, so we just do some super glue on it.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, Cody and I have been friends for how long? We've been friends now.
16, so 18, and we're 34. 16 years.
16 years. Man,
Really?
yeah,
How'd you two meet?
it's a long time.
Boot camp.
Boot camp.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so you started training. I think I was a
A white belt with a few stripes.
no, I didn't. I never got any stripes on my white belt.
I went to your first tournament for sure. The first
As
three
a white belt?
tournaments. Yeah. That was the one.
Talking to the mic.
You came in. You got a rear naked choke first. I just remember that
no,
specifically.
the first tournament I did, I won like right away.
Yeah, and it was kind of I felt bad because the guy came like like 2 states over, and you beat him in like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You know?
Are you talking about the tournament in Richmond? The NoGi submission only. My
No,
match
I
was
remember
an
that
hour
one
and
too.
15
That was
minutes.
no. This was the first one. This was gi. You like did an arm drag, jumped to the guy's back, and like choked him out, and he was like, "Oh," just one of those like. He jumped forward.
Did you go
got
to
it.
that tournament?
Yeah.
The one where it was an hour and 15 minute match, my first match?
I did. I went to that one too. It was very boring, by the way.
Just
Hour and
stagnant.
15 minutes.
Yeah,
Hour-
it was 2 people.
Was there a lot of
trying
stalling?
To get paint.
Turn your mic towards your
Okay.
face. Like
I can
this.
hear it myself.
Was there a lot of
I
stalling?
can hear you too.
All right. I don't know why. Well, then who can't hear me?
Well, you can hear me still,
But it echoes.
but you can hear me a lot clearer if I'm talking into
Okay.
the
I'm just
microphone.
afraid I'm gonna talk too loud.
Just pretend like
What do I do with my
you're
hands?
you're
Just
sucking its dick.
All
Just,
right. Just follow your lead. All right.
Don't be gay.
But anyway, Mitch is bad at jiu-jitsu. It was just 2 people trying to get Americanas on each other for a straight up hour.
You were a white belt?
Yeah,
yeah, I was
very
a white,
much so.
I was a white belt, but I went in the blue belt division.
Like right away. Yeah, it was NoGi, so it was a little more open, and like I think it was by like experience even. You know,
it was
1
like
to 2 years
like by
or
the
something.
advanced
Yeah.
or whatever. It's like beginner, advanced
Exactly.
or whatever. And I went into
Intermediate advanced, yeah.
yeah, I went in like the mid level, and the guy was so fucking flexible.
Yeah.
It was like a Dimitri, but just in his shoulders everywhere, and like and I didn't know too much jujitsu.
I still use that Americana defense that he used. I just watched him do it for an
What
hour.
was
and I'm
it?
like, great. Basically, when they crank it at that level, they'll get overzealous. They want it really bad, so they don't pull in. They kind of lean over you to finish, and you bridge your hips as they crank, and it gives you a little extra space in that joint, and you just time it. When they crank, you bridge, and then they drop back down, and they'll follow you around for a whole hour, like just doing that. I've
And it
seen
happened. He was
Yeah.
followed for a whole hour.
Yeah,
it sounds like.
Oh my gosh, it was
Yeah.
freaking. It was boring for me too. I was
Everyone
just like,
thought
God.
it was
So
boring.
submission
Yeah.
only.
Yep,
It was
submission only, and it really
no time limit.
yeah.
Who was watching this?
Was it exhausting?
Was there a crowd? Did the crowd
a
get
tournament.
thinner as
the crowd
the
was
match
asleep.
got longer?
The crowd was asleep.
I remember people clapping when we finally
Yeah.
got done.
'Cause
Claps of relief.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even I was like, can we just start punching each other?
Yeah, it was a rough one.
God damn.
Because
So-
and you didn't have you had no coach there either. I don't think either of you did. It was like
Greg Walker was there,
okay,
and I remember like doing an Americana. The guy was very flexible
Yeah,
too,
for sure.
Very flexible, like Dimitri flexible, and I fucking cranked it as hard as I could. And I remember like looking over at Greg, and he's just like, I don't know, but yeah, and I was just like, God, I gotta choke this guy. But we were so slippery by that time too. You know, because it was NoGi and been rolling for an hour. It was just like, it was very hard to get to his back and get anything done. It was boring as fuck. But that's the only tournament I've ever done that was a no time limit submission only
I
tournament.
don't think that's true. I think you've done a few other submission only ones.
Probably.
I thought what was the one?
I don't know. You used to go to like all my tournaments. That's what's funny is like you were like my corner man basically for all my fights, all my tournaments, stuff like that. And I was like always trying to get you to do jiu-jitsu, and you're just like, eh. And then like one day you're just like, yeah.
So he was coming and cornering you, and he never had done jujitsu?
Not
He wasn't
cornering
cornering me.
Oh,
He was
okay.
just like always there,
Yeah.
like just my best friend.
Yeah.
fucking-
I'd come up from Camp Lejeune, which is like 2 hours south, and I come up, you'd be like, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm going to jiu-jitsu tonight. All right, I'll come hang out. You know, like, and it's
cool.
You know, just doing that. So I watched him do it for a while, and yeah, at first I was like, you know, I'd done some like wrestling, and Mitch has a very distinct kind of smash 'em up style. And then after I realized that there was a lot of ways to approach jiu-jitsu as far as a skill set or like really what your game is. And after that, I was like, yeah, I'm going to give this a shot. And by then, the black belt teaching me in gym at the time, or the black belt gym me and Mitch were going at the time, he's like, oh, I recognize you. Like, I've seen you at a couple tournaments by now.
Yeah.
So
I
What
remember
was your moment of like, I
good
like this.
question.
I want to do it.
I think probably actually going to the gym and just seeing, because like a tournament's a little scary. You know, you're like, I don't know if I'm like ready to be this vulnerable in front of everybody.
A lot of people get hurt.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people get hurt at tournaments.
Or just ego, just like not really like
losing in front of people.
yeah, or
Yeah,
just
it's
being
huge.
that bad. You know what I mean? Because it's like I
Embarrassing
wrestled for
yourself.
2 years and was embarrassingly bad, but that was because like people had been doing it since they were 5 years old, and I started when I was like a sophomore in high school, so I could be okay with that a little. And in thinking of that, I was like, okay, like plenty of body types. Just it's not as athletically based as wrestling, so. Yeah, I just think probably seeing people perform in the gi and stuff like that was cool. Some higher level moves. I'm definitely have a thinking man's game.
I remember you got real into Spider Guard.
Yeah, I used to show up to noon classes, which were all firefighters, and they were all purple belts. So I just got this like deluge of they're like, I don't want to work on anything simple, you know, like, and I just have some, you know, I don't like to say advanced jiu-jitsu moves, but I would have something a little less prescriptive than the standard closed guard attacks to come to like another group of white belts. And then what really helped too, which is cool about this gym as well, is that there was a huge core of white belts getting their blue belts. There's like 8 to 10 people at the same level I was, and you could bounce things off each other. And that made you want to have those like weird little spider guard sweeps that no one had seen or something like that.
I feel like this time last year we had like a whole, like we had like 20 white belts that were on the verge or like hunting down their blue belts.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I agree.
And now most of them are blue belts, and they're just like,
It's pretty
good.
classic.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I mean,
Cody
I
was
was
a blue
guilty
belt
of that.
for
I was
7
the
years.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a
people.
blue belt for 7 years.
It's it was scary to get my purple belt, but it did feel good. But yeah, it is a hurdle that's nice to get over, I think, and you should keep going. But I empathize a little bit with like getting that first belt and being like, well, now what? Like, I guess it's more of the same thing, you know? Like, you see truly how bad you are at it and how good you can become. And maybe when I was a white belt, it seemed like, I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with this. Like the achievement was done, and now you're like, oh, I actually
feel like
have
purple
all of
belt
jiu-jitsu.
is a really big
So how
one.
do you feel? I mean, you just went on this whole journey from white belt to blue belt, like,
Yeah.
and you know, you're a wrestler, and you're not just like a wrestler that wrestled, you know, back in high school 15 years ago. Like
Yeah.
you're only like 16, you said, or 20,
22.
22.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was not, high school is not that long ago for you. And then you're still an active coach for
Yeah, I coach over at Grassfield.
Grassfield Wrestling. So, you know, you're very much still in the mix, you know, and
And that improved my wrestling
coaching.
a ton.
Yeah.
So much. Yeah.
I believe it. You know, same with teaching jiu-jitsu. You know, when you teach something, you know, you have to have a just different understanding of it and approach to it and
It's like
everything.
a language, and you become very fluent in it.
You got to start like thinking about things that you just do, you know, on your own, or you know, you do without thinking about it. But then when you explain it to someone who's never seen it or done it, you're like, okay, I have to explain why I'm putting my hand here and why that's important and why that matters. And then like, you know, you kind of can skip steps once you get real efficient, and you need to think like, okay, don't do that, like show step by step, and you know, and so they understand the, you know, every part of it. But yeah, so you were like that, like coming, or so you were very much still in the wrestling world. You're still active with that. in the grappling. You know, it's not jujitsu, obviously, but wrestlers have a tremendous base, you know, for starting jujitsu, because, you know, just the using your hips and, you know, grappling in general and all that stuff. You know, there's a lot of similarities in that sense, especially for just beginning. I think a lot of people who don't wrestle and start jujitsu, that's something that's on the learning curve for them as well.
I definitely agree. You see guys who are just jiu-jitsu freaks, though, and they can kind of get past the high level, like a guy like Mikey Musumeci. You know, he's just a jiu-jitsu freak. But I think so many people in this new age of NoGi, I think wrestling is just going to be an absolute staple across the board. I think you're going to get a lot more gyms teaching wrestling, and like good wrestling too. I go to a lot of jiu-jitsu gyms, and they show wrestling, and it's just not good wrestling. It's stuff we would never teach because it just doesn't work against high-level guys. Soon, I think we're going to see in the sport people coaching wrestling to combat like high-level wrestlers and not like low. I feel like a lot of times people coach to the line, and right now the line is so low, you get a lot of bad wrestling taught in jiu-jitsu gyms. So unless somebody has experience wrestling in college or they were a high-level wrestler in high school, it's almost impossible to learn.
I feel like I only know like 3 wrestling moves maybe.
I wish they would combine the sports. You know, like, because it would be great.
They
And
do.
I see like a lot more kids.
Pretty much combined.
Yeah. No, because I mean, they go hand in hand.
I mean, you're an ADCC veteran.
I mean, I know,
that's
right?
like,
Entered the trials, technically.
I technically, like, I watched my brother wrestle for like 8 years, so I practically wrestled, you know, and same thing.
but I mean, wrestling is huge in
Freaking workout.
NoGi jiu-jitsu
Oh,
for
man.
sure. I mean, it's
Wrestling,
it's,
you got to
it's,
be an athlete.
I
Like,
wrestle even
you don't
in the
have to
gi.
be an athlete for jiu-jitsu.
I
you
think
know?
the biggest
Yeah,
thing
you do, but not like wrestling. It's not as
that makes wrestling, like the biggest thing that really transfers over is people really struggle with being heavy. Like when you're pinning somebody, people really struggle with being able to be heavy on somebody and pin them.
and they give you their back, the wrestlers, a lot of times
Yeah,
because they don't want to get pinned.
A lot of handicaps, like a lot of bad habits. If you're really good at certain things in wrestling, it's going to go against you in jiu-jitsu. But then there's things like in wrestling, we can't lock our hands. Like if I get on someone's back, I can't lock my hands.
Really?
Yeah, you're not allowed to
What,
lock your
gable
hands.
grip?
I can't gable grip around their waist. If we're on the ground, it's
So do
called
you just like do like that or
things like that. You dig your underhooks, but your hands can't get locked. You'll lose a point for it.
can
It's
do
a
this, though?
penalty.
I read something really interesting the other day.
I don't know about that. I know you can't lock your hands. I don't know. I think you
know
can
that.
do this.
I read something really interesting. It was like the wrestlers that end up doing really, really good at jiu-jitsu that like transfer over really well are the wrestlers that are able to break the rules because of little things like that. It's
Yeah.
like if they're able to, you know, transition smoothly, it's like they'll break
dirty
the rules.
wrestlers?
I definitely got handled by some wrestlers early on.
Well, you were teaching
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu club at your college.
So I went to University of Wisconsin La Crosse. There was a small jiu-jitsu gym pretty far away and an existing jiu-jitsu club ran by a blue belt, which I then took over for. And, you know, I had grappled at that time for maybe 5 years, but like I said, there's collegiate level wrestlers coming in. And I know Mitch specifically got humbled by a snap down, and mine was a duck under. So it's really fun to like go against Riley and stuff like that because he was just so quick. Just a little duck under and like a standing head and arm triangle. And I'm like, shit, like I have to do something about that. So I think wrestling's a great way to get into jiu-jitsu. And, you know, if you're really good at it, then that's a good problem to have. Don't worry. You can teach yourself other things.
I think the people that are the best at it, though, really, really good wrestlers, I think a lot of time they struggle to getting good at jiu-jitsu because they almost have to get worse at grappling to do all these things that maybe they're not as good at. Like, you know, they have a certain game.
Well, that's why I feel like wrestlers all want to do NoGi is because when you start jiu-jitsu, it's kind of overwhelming as it is. and then like especially in the gi, and then it's like, wait, I can take this off and not have to worry about being strangled by it or anything, and it's more familiar to wrestling that I'm already have a base with.
And they're better at it.
I feel like NoGi is almost just more pure though, because of the lack of gi. It's just like it's more just natural.
I disagree. I feel like
as it would be if
In what, if you're fighting naked?
I would fight naked.
But if we got into a fight right now, just like across this table, throw down, like fuck it, you're pissing me off.
Yeah. I would dominate you, of course.
Yeah, you got a hoodie on, which I could use like a gi.
I have a great story about this. Will Holladine and I were on St. Patrick's Day. We're driving to a bar to get drunk, and we start arguing because I was just telling him basically exactly this, and that's the point he made. He was like, I absolutely could choke you out right now in your hoodie with a bow and arrow. I was like, no, you couldn't. He's like, I could. So this goes on about 20 minutes, and by the time we get to the bar...
Will is another blue belt at our gym, by the way. Another blue belt wrestler.
He's not very good. But we're like screaming at each other because we're very buddy-buddy.
Will's very good.
Passionate at this point.
We get out, and like we're mad. Like my face was red. I was so mad at him. We're arguing. And so I let him take my back. I let him get all set up. He gets his hand deep. And God, he choked the shit out of me. I remember not wanting to tap so bad. Keep in mind, it's St. Patrick's Day. There's people walking out. We're in the middle of the road. Like we got out of my car and I sat down. He pulled so hard, it hurt so bad. He was mad too.
Will's strong.
He's so strong.
Very
and
strong.
I was hoping that I could hold out and my hoodie would break or something.
That's why I cut all my clothes so they'll rip off.
With NoGi, it's like less.
That's
it's
a quality
less
hoodie
complicated.
you're wearing, by the way.
It's less complicated, but you have to be better at it. Like you can use, like with gi, you can use the grips and all that stuff to your advantage. But with NoGi, you don't have that leverage. So like it's less complicated, but you have to be more skilled. I feel
I would say it could be less complicated, but then I meet somebody from like a 10th Planet gym and I'm like, holy shit, you're a wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're doing a whole different thing I'm doing.
It's just a different style.
Yeah.
And they're like 10th Planet, especially, I mean, because Eddie Bravo is so flexible. Like Dimitri is a perfect candidate for
all that orchard stuff.
For 10th Planet.
Yeah.
Another thing I've noticed, and it's a way I never want to be.
Rubber guard and shit. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. When people like are beast in the gi, like they'll tear me up in the gi, but then they take the gi off and like their grappling is just so much more diminished, opposed to maybe somebody who's been doing it as long and they're only a NoGi guy. Like it's just different. I don't want to become. I mean, I do want to become proficient in the gi, but I don't want to only become proficient in the gi. It's important to me. I'm my skill level.
See, I feel the opposite. I feel like you can always roll in a gi and you can always take the gi off and you still know jiu-jitsu and you can still roll with anybody no gi. But if you never train in the gi and then you put a gi on against someone who does train in the gi, you're going to get strangled.
I feel like we need to have this conversation again with Will.
I also think
Will Louisian, that would be great.
Will needs to be here so it can be Mitch versus Will, gi versus no gi.
I would love that.
Well,
because
how many times do you see me rolling with Will with a no gi, and how many times do you see Will rolling with me in a gi?
That's true.
How many times have I seen Will put on a gi?
Zero.
I have a few times.
He's worn a gi for the ceremonies.
I was going to be Will for Halloween, and I got this rash guard. It didn't come in time, but the rash guard says gi is dead, and then I was going to draw like a little beard on my face.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do think gi is dying.
A bag of gummy worms.
No.
You don't
Gummy
think
worms?
ADCC?
I think it is. I kind of think it
gi's
is a little
dying.
bit.
I think it's too
that's
slow.
just something wrestlers say.
Yeah, that's something.
I think it's
you've
too
been doing
slow.
jiu-jitsu for a year. If that. You don't even know shit.
A long year.
How long? Well, yeah, how long have you been training? Do you remember?
I think I want to say a year and a half. Technically, there was a 2-month period where I trained. I got grounded really bad in high school, my sophomore year. I was a bad kid. I got grounded for a few months, and I started going to. My buddy did Taekwondo, so I ended up going to this Taekwondo gym because he was like, "Yeah, like you'll learn how to fight." And I was, I did not learn how to fight, but I did a few jiu-jitsu classes there for like a month or two. But then I came to Violent Hippie, and I've probably consistently been training
Yeah, I don't count any of that.
Yeah.
beforehand.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I meant here.
Yeah,
Training
probably,
here.
I don't know, maybe a year and a half, a year.
I matched with someone.
You're definitely one of our OGs
I was the first,
of your crew.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I've been wanting to do jujitsu, but I never had the opportunity because I
It was
was so
either
busy
you or
with work.
Riley.
It was me. I brought Riley in.
Yeah.
I convinced him to come in. I was there the first day you did it was like free sponsorship. You had to be there 3 days a week. You know, you just posted on Instagram. Nobody was in a gi or anything like that because nobody had one. And we just like rolled a little bit. And I was like, it was cool and it was free. And I was like, this gym is sick.
Favorite part.
Yeah.
It's cool. And Jeremy, of course, had been coming here for a while, and I'd been following you on social media for a little bit, and I just thought, like, the brand was cool. The Smash and Green seemed cool. I knew Samson a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Will Haladina knows Samson pretty well, I guess, though. I guess he got his first stripe from Samson.
Yeah, that's right. Will said that he told me that. I forgot about that.
He's got an awesome story about going in there and rolling with Samson for the very first time, and he bulldog choked him. Because Samson, I just caught him, and I guess Samson just fucking put it on him for like 3 weeks after that. Like never a kid got close, and
Will's strong, man.
he's
strong.
He's strong, man. Especially now that he's losing all that weight. Remember how big he was when he first came in here? And everything's great.
He was fat when he came in here. Now he's definitely more fit. For sure.
Yeah, he loves lifting.
Good for him.
And you own a tree service, right?
Yeah.
What's the name of your tree service?
It's called Grateful Tree Service, just like the band. I have a partner, Mark Stewart. I joined his company. He actually founded it. When I was 17, I started a service called Forest Forestries.
I forgot your last name was Forrest. That's perfect.
Yeah. I had
What
a
a
teacher
great
in high
pun.
school that I'd been coming out. I was doing tree work with him, like all kinds of crazy shit, man. That was a crazy job. It really was. We had no equipment, and he was just this madman, super athlete, like college wrestler. And he would just climb these trees with like no safety gear, really. He was just getting up there and like, he was just fucking getting it done. Like, looking back on it, like now that I'm certified and I've been in the trade and I train people, I'm just like, holy shit, how did we not die? But at the time, I was like, literally like 16.
Cody lives at my farmhouse property, and we do quite a bit of lumberjacking out there.
Yeah, felling trees.
I think about you all the time, Forrest, when we're out there, because I'm just like, Mitchell, like, just leave a widowmaker and be like, oh, wait, that's your job. Like, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
It's just hanging.
What are you talking about,
He'll
dude?
fall one tree into another and then just like cut that part off and be like, good. It's all bad.
So I try to.
We got like 50 plus acres out there, and there's like 40 acres of it is woods.
Yeah.
And there's so many fucking trees. I've cut down so many fucking trees.
That's awesome.
This is a good story, another good college story. I tried to pull out a bush out of my dad like owned the house, so I was all into landscaping, and it was a great workout. So I dug up the bush, and I still couldn't pull it out. So I took a lunge line, which is like a 30-foot horse line, and I weaved it all in and out of the roots, and I still couldn't pull it up. So I was like, screw it. And I went and I drove a Mountaineer, and I pulled up, and I was so stupid. I tried to just hold the end of the lunge line and reverse. But as soon as I started to reverse, I started to catch my hand in between the mirror and in my car or whatever, and I just smashed my hand. The bush didn't go anywhere. I was so mad. My hand was like almost broken, black and blue. And then I was like, oh, why didn't I just tie it to my trailer, like the hitch, like in the back? And so that's what I did, and the bush came out. But is that
what happened to your hand there?
No, that's not. You know what happened to my hand.
Do tell.
Okay, so we were this morning at the noon class. I was grappling with
because Rachel has a champion mindset.
A champion. I was born a champion. I got lungs of a champion.
And she was training twice a day, just 2 a days. She was here at the noon class.
And it was the last roll. We were like, let's do one more roll. And I was rolling with Liz, and I've been trying to work on my takedowns, and she was giving me like a good fight. And we went back and forth, and then I finally got the takedown. I got the takedown, but my finger, it was actually funny because I don't know. I think my nose hit first, like my nose hit her knee, and then my finger, like my hand landed in between.
That was a takedown. For the record,
I got I would still get 2 points.
I don't think that was 2 points
because you were in half guard.
No, I was in her guard, but you still get a takedown if they stay down.
Under
well, I would have passed her guard. I would have passed her guard, and I would have gotten the takedown.
Maybe.
Anyway, my hand freaking snapped. Like it was crazy because it's like I felt that my finger was like dislocated, pointing like another way, but like it was like already numb, and I was like, like, and I make a lot of sounds when I'm rolling, like oh no, like oh god, and so like normally like I made the same sound that I always make, like oh god, and like no one thought anything of it, but I'm like no stop, and like I pull out and my finger, Mike was actually filming, and like he went and looked at it. He like turned his head. He couldn't even look at it, and he was like, Mitch comes over, and like my finger is literally dislocated. I'd like seen this in TV shows, never have seen this in real life. Like I'm like terrified.
It's like 90 degrees.
Literally terrified. It looks like it's from like a horror movie, like going the complete opposite, and Mitch just grabs it and snaps it right back into place. It was gnarly.
I hate when the knees pop out. I hate watching.
But I was still here for live rolling tonight. So that's a champion mindset. You know, you fall down, you get back up. You do it, and you do it even harder.
She was like in shock. She didn't know what to do. She was just like, bitch. Like, I don't know what to do.
I literally was in shock.
Yeah, and I'm like, come here, and she like just like put her head into my like chest, and I was just like, boom.
I can't believe I trusted him to do that. I just didn't even think twice about it. I was like, all right, yeah, he knows what he's doing, but I don't know how you know what
he doesn't know what he's doing.
You did it like it was like you've done it a million times. I was like,
he's never done it before.
Yeah, I doubt. Yeah, exactly. I think Cody's right.
Was when you were asking how you should go about rolling with it today, and you're like, yeah, should I focus on something? And he was just like, just roll. As if it's not even there. Pay no attention to it.
You heard that? You heard that? I can't even make a fist. I mean, my hand is like black and blue.
I thought you were gonna be like, just play bottom, like,
no.
Like just
tell
pull
your
guard.
Training partners, maybe an announcement. Hey guys, Rachel has a hurt hand.
Nope.
But you know, you know why I did it? Like I felt like I had to roll tonight because it's like if not, I still feel like I'm gonna have a PTSD from it. Yeah, exactly. I don't need like a mental block. Yeah,
you got over that. You weren't even thinking about it, right?
But wasn't even thinking about it.
There you go. That's how fucking champions are made.
Yeah.
Like we're not doing this pussyfoot coddling game. Nothing like that. Okay. Rachel wants to be a champion, so that's
I am a champion.
She is a champion, and that's that's the only mindset that we're forging.
So I grew up
champions that can't use their hands.
When I grew up, my life revolved around horses, and the number.
What did you say? You were like, it's just a finger. I've got more.
I've got 10 of them. You know, I think I got 10 of them, but yeah, it's just a finger. But my you know, growing up riding horses, the number one rule at the barn was if you fall off, you get back on and you do it again, and you end on a good note. And like, because if not, you get a mental block, and if you don't get a mental block, the horse gets a mental block.
Literally, so get right back in the saddle.
Get right back in the saddle. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Do you know how many dudes don't have that mentality? You're like, I mean,
and they're just pussies.
If they fucking
dislocate
their finger, I can't train for the rest of the week or the rest of the month. It's like, shut the fuck up and just fucking tape it up and get back out there.
I love how Dimitri today, someone else was like, you need to go to the doctor. You need to go to the doctor. Da, da, da. Dimitri was like, no, you don't. Dimitri's like this, 16, 18-year-old kid. And he's like,
I think he's 16.
Yeah. And he's just super sweet. He's like, no, that's stupid. They're just going to tell you the same thing. Yeah. It's like, what are you going to do?
Nothing you can do. It's like having a broke toe.
Yeah.
So
just hurts.
When I was really little, I broke my arm, and it was my humerus bone, and it twisted, and it was like literally poking out of my
compound fracture.
Yeah, it was a compound fracture, and it was my humerus bone. I was like 8 or 9, and like literally, we're on the way to the hospital. This lady's like holding my arm in place, and my mom's like crying, and like I looked at her, I probably was still in shock. I was like, am I still going to be able to show this weekend, like in the horse show? It's like competing, and my mom was. She thought I was crazy, but I mean, yeah, I've always had the mental.
Just pretend it's not even there.
right. I guess I always had that mentality, maybe.
I feel like a lot of people
champions
are born
born.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was born a champion.
There you go.
I got lungs of a champion. I know I've said that, but.
What's that mean?
And then I've
Yeah,
got.
what does that mean?
What does that mean?
So, okay, you want me
Sound
to
like a
honestly tell
smoking
you what it
weed
means?
right there?
She is convinced she could beat me in a swimming.
Well, I
race.
know I can.
That's
okay,
preposterous.
I didn't say I can.
know you
No,
can.
okay. First of all, okay. I said that I can outswim him. He might swim faster than me, but I will swim longer than him.
Did you
because
swim in high school?
I used to want to swim the English Channel, so I would like swim like a really, really long distance. But the reason why I say I have lungs of a champion, because in college, I have the body of a champion. Like my whole they just like I live off Diet Coke and junk food, and my body just keeps on
That
going
sounds
and
like
going.
the opposite
I
of a
like-
champion.
I
That sounds like
like-
an old Ford.
I like to think of myself as the little engine that could, but when I was in college, I would run a lot and I would swim a lot. And I had my dog Hendrix, rest in peace Hendrix, best dog in the world, loved to swim, and so I would run, and I would run like 4 miles, and this is back in the day when I smoked cigarettes and it was awful. And so I'd put a cigarette and a lighter in my sports bra, and so I would straight up run 4 miles. My dog would stop and have a swim, and I would smoke a cigarette and then run 4 more miles, and like literally like lungs of a champion. And then I would swim, and I just lungs of a champion.
I don't like, but how good at swimming could you be?
And my
When's the last time
endurance-
you swam though?
Mitch saw me swim the other day, and that's what's
How was she?
We went swimming the other day.
And
Was she
that's-
good at swimming?
That's what's cool about swimming is I can still get in the pool and swim a mile without stopping, and I'll swim a
You
mile
could
like
swim a mile without stopping.
I can swim like the longest I've done was like 5 miles without stopping.
with no stops.
With no stops, like turn every time.
So-
but only did it in the pool,
What
not open
does-
water.
I don't know.
Like, how
I don't know if I believe that.
That's insane.
It's a long.
I have an underwater iPod. That helps. That helps. But
What does
once
that
I
mean
start
for, like,
going,
music,
once
or
I
you're watching movies
like
on
no,
it?
like music, because that's what happens is I get really bored. But I used to want to swim the English Channel, but then I was like, oh no, fuck
5
that.
miles?
Do you-
How long did
do you-
5 miles
do you
take?
Guys, do you guys think
It
that
takes
she
a
could-
while.
Do you guys think that she could swim
Like 2.5 hours.
An hour straight?
No.
Oh my god, you guys are crazy.
What if the water is
okay,
cold?
guys.
No,
the
I'm saying
5 miles.
at
5 miles
One
would
Life.
take multiple
5
hours.
miles
I'm
took me
talking-
2.5, 3 hours.
That sounds unrealistic. It sounds like it would take longer.
When
Were you
I
were you
have
wearing
my rest.
fins?
No, I don't wear fins because my feet tighten up too much. If I wore fins, I would have already swum the English Channel. Okay, because I could.
How long do you think it would take you to
I'm
swim
like a
5 miles?
motorboat
I've
when I
done
have
it.
swim.
How long would it take you?
No, yeah.
It's got to be
took
longer than
under
3
2
hours.
hours.
No, it was 4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I-
no
Yeah,
way you're
I think
swimming
it's-
5 miles faster than Mitch. When you're swimming.
I swim 5
So,
miles in
okay.
like 3.5 hours. He does
No
side stroke
way.
the whole time.
So yeah, which is efficient.
I do freestyle backstroke and breaststroke, and then I repeat it over and over again. And I have a mean backstroke, and so yeah, I probably definitely swam faster than Mitch because he's doing side.
He was a SEAL in
Listen.
It
SEAL
doesn't
training.
fucking matter. I would blow so many seals out of the water, like fucking eat my
Literally
dust.
would not.
I won my first sprint triathlon.
You
All
don't
right,
see.
Listen, in Buds,
let's go to the pool.
You do a see you bitches in the pool. In the Buds, you do a 5.5 mile swim.
I thought it was like 500 meters.
I'm saying this is in second phase, like one of the big things you do, big hurdles is a 5.5 nautical mile swim. So it's more than
Nautical is what's hard, is because that's open water.
and it took.
It's a
and
different
if you
game
get
boat.
if you get under 3 hours on that swim, and that's with fins. If you get under 3 hours, you get put on the Hall of Fame.
I could
or
have been a
Wall of
Navy
Fame,
SEAL.
basically.
My buddy, I don't know how true this story is. You might be able to appreciate this story. I won't say his name, but he went through Buds. He didn't get through, but he was the leader of his boat crew, and he was in the middle of Hell Week. I'm not sure. They had to do some race.
Mm-hmm.
They were down a man because somebody got hurt. They got sent. I don't know. They were down a man though. So they're losing this race. They're in dead fucking last. So then I think the Coast Guard or there's a boat that they kind of monitor them just to make sure nobody drowns is what he was telling
safety
me.
Boat.
I'm telling the story secondhand, hence,
Yeah.
But all of a sudden they're losing this race and the safety boat comes flying to them full speed. And their guy that was hurt was on the safety boat and he's like, let's go. So that guy hops in, and the safety boat's about to leave. And they're so far behind now with training, like get this guy hopping in, they had to stop. My buddy is like, hey, you think you could give us a tow? Like help us out a little bit? So they fucking tow this guy all the way to first. And everybody's like fucking screaming at him like, you fucking cheater. They're freaking out. And he gets there. And I don't know if it's called a sergeant.
It's like a Brazilian win.
You said it was during Hell Week?
I think it was Hell Week, maybe. It was.
I wonder if it was around the world. That sounds like
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it sounds like around the world.
I know he
Was it at
completed
night?
Hell Week.
Was it at night?
It was at night, I think.
Okay, yeah.
And
Around the
then,
world.
so they get there and like
Pretty sweet.
the sergeant is just like blown away. He's like, you just set a record. Like no one has ever done it this fast. I can't believe like they were like 30 minutes faster because they got towed in. And the guy basically asked him like, did you lie to me? And he was like, no, drill sergeant. Or, no. He's like, I did not. So everyone fucking gets there and he's like, I want you guys to go eat some food and like just drink and sit by the fire. And as the boat crew start coming in, they start getting fucking smoked because he's like, these guys beat you by 30 minutes. They just set a record. You guys are fucking lazy. You fucking slackers.
They didn't snitch on
Oh,
him?
they did. They were trying to, but so then they're like, come here. I'm trying not to say his name. They're like, come here. So they're talking to my buddy.
Just call him Turd.
Yeah. You said turd?
Turd.
They're like, turd.
That's probably what they called him.
Yeah.
Did
What
you
they called
cheat?
most of us.
And he's like, no drill sergeant. He's like, I thought about coughing it up for a second, but I was like, fuck, I'm in too deep. So then he gets on the radio and goes, hey, did one of you guys tow in one of my seals? He said it was like the longest pause of his knife. Negative. All good, dude. Those guys just kept getting smoked even worse. It's like you're fucking lying and trying to make excuses. He's just sitting there shitting in his bricks. I mean, like, I guess the guy was freaking out on him. Like, if I find out you're lying, you get kicked out. Like, you're going to get fucking smoked.
He still didn't make it. He still didn't make it.
He got hurt. He broke his leg or something like that. Unfortunate. And then it's just a brutal cycle of like, got sent to do whatever, you know, because he couldn't do buds.
Yeah.
It's like you re-enlist, you try again.
Yeah, I had one of those deals in boot camp. Remember sneaking off to use the phone, and yeah, me and two other guys, we snuck off to use the phone in boot camp, and it was like Sunday during holiday routine or whatever, and like on Sundays, like at a certain point, you have like a little bit of freedom, or you know, at least for boot camp, you know, it's like, can I go to church, you know, and it's like, yeah, you turds, hurry up, you know, go to church and then come right back. And like me and these two other dudes were like, well, we're gonna go use the phone, and like, and basically we realized that there's not like people in the regular Navy or whatever don't give a fuck about anything going on. It's only the RDCs, like the boot camp instructors, that really pay attention to the other like boot camp students or whatever. So, you know, I like realize this. I think it's also, I never ever had any intentions of joining the military, or like never aspired to. I gave two shits about the military.
How long were you in for?
10 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But I don't like, I never wanted to do it. I always thought it was fucking stupid. I, you know, never wanted to like I was never like into authority and all that shit, you know? So I think I just had a different mindset than a lot of people that go in the military. They want that like structure. They want that like, I'm going to follow the orders. I'm a part of this. And I was just like, fuck off, you know? And that was just my mindset. But like, so I was just like seeing opportunities, you know? I was like, yeah, these guys aren't, you know, they're not even fucking paying attention, whatever. So it's like, if you just act confident, then no one's going to fuck with you.
Yeah.
And,
that's great. Just not refusing to conform.
Yeah. And so me and these two other dudes, they were also down to go use the phone, and like we like, all right, we're gonna go do this. So the
phone, is this like a pay phone? Is it like?
Yeah, it's like you have like calling cards and stuff like that, because like you throughout boot camp you'll be able to use the phone like 3 times or something like that. Like there's like scheduled times where you can use it. Then we were just like, so like after the first time, I'm like, well, I know where the phones are, you know, and like so I'm just gonna go
Use the phone.
Go use the phone. Yeah. And say I'm going to church. So we were like, all right, we make this plan to go there. And I'm just like covering our asses just in case, like contingencies, you know. And it's like, all right, guys. And like, I'm like, no matter what, even if, you know, they say we know you're going to just stick to the story. Nope. We went to church, came back, you know, because we were also late.
Late coming back from using the damn.
Yeah, because, you know, whatever. Like, you're out. Do it. And so we all go out, we use the phone, then we all come back, and they just fucking lose their minds on us. And Cody was in my boot camp. They were fucking pissed. And they just took us in one at a time in the office and just like, you know, just interrogated us. And I was the last one to go. And like those guys, like, and when they came out, they just like put them somewhere else, you know? And then I go in and they're just like grilling me like, we already know you did it. And I'm like, did what? And we already know you went and used the phone. They're like, your two fucking friends already ratted you out. They blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, that's weird. I don't know why they would say that. Like, we just went to church, you know? And they just like grilled me for like 15 fucking minutes. And I started laughing and I'm like, what? And they're like, what's so fucking funny? And I was like, I feel like at the time, me and my family, like, we used to watch like Law and Order SVU. It was like, and I was like, I feel like I should lawyer up. Like, you guys are, and they're like, why? Because you broke the law, or you're a criminal? And I'm like, no. I was like, this reminds me of Law and Order SVU.
That's hilarious.
And then, you know, and I was like, I don't know why they would say that. That's weird, and I don't know why you keep asking me. And then they brought in the other two, and they were like, all right, you little turds, next time you go to church, you get your asses right back here.
So there's not cameras for them to just check and be like...
No, I mean, it's like...
there's also a reason, like, there are reasons people could use the phone during the day, one of which is you get medically rolled. You're just kind of stuck in boot camp. There's plenty of people in, like, recruit uniforms that it's totally normal for them to go talk on the phones. So, like he said, like, some other person who's, like, it's not, you know, Mitch's... drill sergeant or RDC is what they're called. Like, they're just like, oh yeah, he's probably like an ASMO guy, and they're, you know, whatever. Like, there's people who can do that. There's regular Navy who aren't drill instructors there doing stuff too. That would suck, by the way. But like, yeah, so he just kind of banked off of the fact that people who were paying attention didn't really care. You know, like they're like, oh, I'm a clerk at a store. What am I gonna tell his dad or some shit? Like, you know?
Yeah, and I was just like, sweet. Like, I was so pumped that those guys like stuck to it, and just because they all got interrogated too. Yeah. But we all just stuck to it, and we were just laughing about it. It was funny.
That's great.
But yeah, and then they were pissed though still, and they were like, and I was in like a spec ops division or whatever, and like half of the people there were going to Buds or something like that, and the other half were like regular Navy. Those two guys were regular Navy, but I was going to Buds, and so my chief was like, we're gonna get you fucking kicked out, and they sent me down with like 5 other dudes, and just put this like hellacious ass beating on us, and it was January in Chicago. And it was fucking so much snow on the ground, whatever. It's freezing cold, and like we were out at the pool down there, and like just getting our ass beat for like 2 hours
in the pool,
out of the pool.
Oh my God!
And then I remember like they brought us all outside, and we were in like our just shorts and just soaking wet in the snow, doing flutter kicks, and they're fucking spraying us with a hose in the face.
Oh my God!
Yeah, everybody quit but me.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's crazy. But
how fast did it take those guys to quit?
And once we got out there, everybody quit.
Yeah, cold
except me.
It's cold.
Yeah,
it'll do it to you.
Yeah, that was no joke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
everyone's tough until they're fucking cold.
Yeah,
but then
fuck
we all,
that.
Yeah, but then we all went back, and like I was the last one in, and everybody walking in, and the chief's like, "Did you quit?" I'm like, "Who ya, chief?" "Did you quit?" "Who ya, chief?" "Who ya, chief?" And there's like, "Did you quit?" I was like, "Negative." Then he beat me again.
That's hilarious,
dude. I got so much fucking extra attention.
I bet you did. I was thinking
Buds,
that.
all of that. Remember that time I got beat for like 2 hours in front of everybody for bunk drills?
Yeah, you just didn't. He wasn't very. I was the exact opposite. I was very much a gray man.
He hated me in boot camp.
Yeah, I did a lot. Basically, like the first day, you get there, it's like P days. Nobody knows everyone, and I'm kind of like treating it like prison. Like I'm just getting a vibe for everyone. Really keeping my head down. And at this time, they're like, don't, like, your family can't send you mail. And I don't know, I guess Mitch does have some parents in the Navy, so they're like, screw that. I'm going to send, if I write Mitch Aguiar boot camp on a letter, it'll get to him. And it did, but nobody else's letters did. So, like, they're like, mail call. And this random dude called up, Aguiar. And he just keeps saying his name over and over again. And, like, everybody knows him. And we're all pissed that he got letters. And I was like, what a stupid motherfucker. I just was like,
what a dumb asshole.
Like, what a stupid asshole. Yeah, and he definitely paid for it. Like, yeah, they all knew his name after that.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, contrast, I remember halfway through boot camp, Keeney at one of our RDCs just stops, and I was mopping in the hallway. And he goes, are you in my division? And I was like, yeah, perfect. Just no idea who I am.
Super gray man.
That's awesome.
Until my situation with snitching, they instantly snitched with the pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell that story. It's funny.
Yeah. So, I don't want to get too into it too much, but I was on ship staff, which meant like there's a main building and there's people that have to like take care of the common spaces, hallways, main doors, things like that. So, I'm in charge of like mopping the common spaces, and one of the common spaces is the drill instructor RDC lounge, and I'm cleaning it up with this guy, and he's like, this pizza box has been here since last night. And I was like, oh. And he's like, I think they want us to throw it away. And I said, we're going to eat this motherfucking pizza. And, like, keep in mind, it's like boot camp food and shit like that. So
very few options.
Yeah, so I it's in the box, and I throw it away, and I take this wheelie trash can all the way to this back like staircase, and I open it up. I haven't even looked in it yet. I'm just like gonna and I open it up, and sure enough, it's like half of a Papa John's pizza. Still has that little peppercini and everything, and I just start tearing right into it. And the guy I'm with is like, I don't know, and I'm like, do you want some pizza? And he's like, yeah. And then another guy walks in. I'm like, get some of this. And he's kind of like Mitch said, there's some people who are like, oh, I can't break the rules, And I was like, all right, then go up there, like go up the staircase. And if anybody comes down, just like you're supposed to greet anyone, like, good afternoon, petty officer. And I'm like, just do that extra loud so I know he's coming. Doesn't do that at all.
What freezes
up so bad, and I realized
there's so many fucking nerds in the military.
Oh my god, I'd be so mad. I'd hate that person forever.
So this drill instructor like walks down, and I have a mouth full of pizza because I'm eating it as fast as I possibly can, like 2 full slices in my mouth, and I'm just like, oh fuck. And so does the guy next to me, and he just is like, what are you eating? And he's like, he's like, pizza. And then the worst part is the other guy next to me, he's like, were you eating it too? He's like, yes, petty officer. I'm like,
oh my God.
Even worse, he goes, were you eating it? I went, no, just me. And right after I said, no, just me, he's like, yeah, I had some too. And I was like, oh my God. And
what a nerd.
Yeah. And it was pretty funny. They made me go around and tell that story to all the other RDCs. And what was awesome was I was kind of scared because, you are like, you don't want to get rolled back and have to spend more time in boot camp. And I didn't know if they were going to be like, you stole that trash or some shit like that. So I found out they just thought it was really, really funny. But they were like keeping it a secret that they thought it was funny until I told a chief RDC. So he's like supposed to be like the guy in charge of the other RDCs, and he's just like staring at me. He's like, what'd you do? And I was like, I ate some pizza out of the trash. And he just bursts out laughing and then just like left the room. Like he just like, I can't handle this, And I was like, oh, like they think this is funny. And then they like didn't really know how to fuck with me with it because I was like, they didn't know like my background. Like maybe this kid does like regularly eat out of the trash. Maybe he's homeless. They're like, can we really like get him for that? And they're like, nah, we'll just make him tell this funny ass story. But
that's great.
Yeah, they instantly were just like, oh no, I was doing the wrong thing. Not at all like Mitch's story. But needless to say, after that, I was not a gray man, and everyone knew me as a guy who ate trash. So what can you do?
Cody's rack, like his rack was right next door or next to mine. And again, like on the holiday routine, like Sundays, you have a little bit of leeway or whatever for a couple hours. But you're not allowed to nap. Like you can't nap.
Can't sleep? You can't nap?
You can't sleep during that time.
That's crazy.
So, but it's like pretty lax, you know, a little bit like.
The further you get in boot camp, the more relaxed it gets.
Yeah, and this was towards the end, you know. It was like, I don't know. Yeah, it was towards the end. And so it was like, you know what you can get away with, kind of whatever. And our racks were right next to each other. And in boot camp, you have to label all of your shit with like a stamp, you know, with your last name and your social security number or whatever. And so I was laying under my bunk bed, like on the floor. And I was like, you know, just sleeping with no pillow or whatever, just like laying on the floor, just taking a quick shut eye real quick, you know, nothing
like,
even serious.
Okay, if you were smart, you're like prop yourself up against the corner, pretend you're like you know, so I'm going to say sharpening,
Whatever,
polishing your boot. You act like you're doing something. He was like face down under a rack with like a shirt as a pillow. Like he was like clearly like just like snoring under this rack. And I was like, oh my God.
And Cody was like, I fucking hate this guy. He's like, he's going to get us all in trouble. Yeah. And he took his notepad out and just wrote turd or something.
Yeah.
What'd you write?
I think I wrote fag, but I want to say I wrote turd, you know, because it's.
Wrote turd and put an arrow like pointing at me and like left it on the floor.
That's
like,
hilarious.
And it was like, was that a snitch move? Is it, you know?
No, that move was to get you to fight me. I was like, my name is on it, and I was like, he's gonna come be like, what the fuck? Because Mitch was very confrontational. I was like, one punch in the face, he's out of here because you can't fight at all. So I'm like,
that is hilarious.
Like, easy day for me, and he was very confused by it. He's like, "Did you fucking write this?" I was like, "Yeah," and he's just like, "Huh." Like, just like, weird. Like, you know.
How would you do that?
Like,
well,
you know.
yeah, and it was very weird for me too because honestly, like before in like high school and shit, and growing up all through like my school years, I fought people all the time, like at the drop of a hat. I would fight anybody, anywhere, anytime in school, doesn't matter. And then when I got in the Navy, like boot camp was like the first time that I experienced like not being able to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, cause it was like, yeah, I could do this, but like now there's like, you know, I'm not going to be
consequences.
I'm not going to be able to go to Buds.
Yeah,
you
not
know,
gonna try it. That's
and
for
I,
sure,
like,
yeah.
and I was like, I had zero interest in the military or whatever. Definitely had no interest in the regular
So why'd
Navy.
you just needed money?
I was just bored.
Yeah.
I want to know what coping skills you use to not fight people.
So it was just kind of like, yeah, just a realization. I was like, fuck, like I want to go to Buds and like I want to, you know, be a SEAL. So I can't fucking fight this guy. And it was,
I didn't think he was smart enough to do that.
So
I was like, he's gonna punch me right in the face.
it was hard, man. It was hard not to like.
That is what I call, you know, the saying like ends to a means.
I used to
That's
call it
a
the
means.
Navy shield. I was
Yeah.
like, these fucking pussies got their Navy shield.
That's
you know?
hilarious.
That's a means to an end, like something you want so bad, or like means something like, you know, intrinsically that you're willing that will put it into something else.
Yeah, I got.
Does that make sense?
I got obsessed with Hell Week more so than even being a SEAL. Like I was just like obsessed with Hell Week and the thought of Hell Week and like completing Hell Week. And,
Yeah.
you know, it was like that was just like this huge challenge that I was like obsessed with, and you know, and I basically in my mind was like, I mean, this isn't Hell Week, so I just gotta keep going, you know? And like no matter how shitty stuff got, like all the beat downs and everything that like I you know, that are regularly scheduled, and then all the extracurricular ones that I brought on myself, like I was always just like, my mindset was just like, oh, I mean, this isn't Hell Week, you know, so just gotta do it.
With it
But
being
then, like, yeah,
such
I
a
just
goal
I
for
wanted
you.
to I wanted to fight people so bad, and I was like, I can't, like I won't be able to fucking do this. So that was
You
was
wanted
definitely
it that bad.
It was a new thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not being able to smash.
yeah,
It's hilarious.
I didn't like it.
the Navy shield.
Yep. What were you asking?
Hell Week was like a huge goal for you. A lot of times I've talked to SEALs and they say, you know, Hell Week is not even close to the hardest thing, like about being a SEAL. Like it's just
No, I mean it's definitely like the biggest like initial hurdle.
Yeah.
for sure. But I mean it's not just like Hell Week. It's all of it. It's you know, by the time you even get to Hell Week, you've been through so much bullshit. And
Yeah.
like so many people have quit by then. You know, and it's like Hell Week's just like the fucking pinnacle of like the bullshit phase of it, you know? And then after that, it's still just bullshit for a long ass time, but it's not peak bullshit, you know? But
do you feel that's because the drill instructors feel like they've weeded out like a lot of the
most, yeah. I mean, well, it's just like, no, that doesn't really, it kind of dies down a little bit just because they know they can't make you stay up for 5 days again and just like run you fucking to the dirt. Like, so there's no point, you know, in going to that level again.
How much sleep
you
get?
2 hours on Wednesday and 1 hour on Thursday.
So you're just wide awake. You hallucinate?
Yeah, I hallucinated during Around the World, that the boating thing where you paddle the boat around, you know, basically San Diego, around Coronado. And yeah, I was hallucinating during that. But Hell Week was like one of the most fun weeks of my life.
That's what some SEALs have told me. They said buds in general, looking back on it, it's just like man camp.
It's the most fun you never want to have.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Buds is more fun than the SEAL team. So.
What was it? Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
Anyway, let's get back to grappling.
Well, I was going to tie it back in with saying, like, because I know you had a little bit of post-Hell Week depression. That's kind of what I was getting at with the blue belt. Like, you're so focused on that first goal. Then when it happens, you're like, oh, like, I still have to do all this other stuff. You're like,
and that's where I was going with you initially with you know, to back up 30 fucking minutes ago. But, like, you were just on that, like, kind of grind to get your blue belt. Because you haven't had your blue belt that long.
No, I have not.
You got your blue belt in May.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, in May at that ceremony, we all got it at the same time, which I thought was cool. I did like.
Yeah, I don't want to do belt ceremonies all the time, you know, because I feel like a lot of schools use them as money grabs. I think because they're like, you know, they know that people want their belts. You know, they know that they're whether, you know, they always say, like, don't chase the belt, don't blah, 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 whatever. People inherently want the fucking belt, you know. And it's the recognition, you know. They want that recognition for the hard work that they're putting in and stuff like that. And they want to feel that sense of accomplishment of reaching that goal and getting that belt. And so I don't blame people. I know that, like, I've been there, I've experienced it, whatever. And you know, once you're through it, it's easy to say it, you know, like, don't do that. But, you know, it's kind of natural. And but what I've noticed is I feel like a lot of gyms around here in this area use it as a money grab. You know, they know people want that belt, and they're like, okay, well, we're going to do 2 belt ceremonies a year. And, you know, and it's a seminar, and you got to pay to come to the seminar, you know, because we're going to have this special person come in and show you a fucking side control escape. Oh. And they use that as a, you know, and we're going to be, you know, promoting everybody. So it's like, but you got to attend the seminar at $75, you know, and it's like, all right, so everybody shows up and pays the $75 and everybody gets their belt and, you know,
I didn't know gyms do that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do. And obviously I don't do that because I don't fucking agree with that. And
a lot of shady shit like that at jiu-jitsu gym.
Money grabs, man.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, and I'm the exact opposite of that. Like, I fucking literally let everybody train here for a year for free.
That is true.
You know?
That is true. That's why I came. Can't beat it. Can't beat it.
Right. But, but, you know, the belt ceremony, I wanted to do a belt ceremony at that time because there was you know, all that crop of, like, people that I had been investing in, you know, and we had, like, I don't know, 10, 12 blue belts or something like that.
Yeah, I had a similar experience getting my blue belt, and it was awesome. Like, just that group, you can be, oh, okay, we got our blue belts together.
Right,
you
right.
know,
like, you know,
feels good.
You, like, all you guys were training hard as fuck together, coming up, you know, learning at the same time, and, you know, competitive, you know, friendly competition between each other. And you know, I think, it was cool to, like, all right, once I realized, like, everybody is where I want them to be to receive a blue belt and to wear a blue belt, and, like, you know, say, like, you're a blue belt under Mitch Aguiar, you know, and you're a violent hippie blue belt. Like, I wanted everybody to get to that point, and then once everybody was, then it was like, all right, now we're going to have a ceremony and, promote everybody at the same time kind of deal. And I thought it's cool. There are benefits to that because it is something, especially the blue belt. It's like, it's your first belt and it's your first I feel like it's your first real step towards black belt,
Yeah.
And becoming a legitimate jiu-jitsu. I wouldn't even say you're not a legit jiu-jitsu practitioner till you're a purple belt.
I agree with that. I would agree with that.
Because so many people fall off at blue belt. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it is the first real a promotion to a different colored belt. It's not just the white belt that I got with the uniform.
Excited when I got my blue belt. I just thought it was so cool. And
it is cool.
It's so cool. And then it's really cool when I go to other gyms.
Yeah, and you're a blue belt.
Yeah, and it's just there's face card. If I want to go to some Gracie gym.
But at the same time, I'm not going to just promote anyone to fucking blue belt, because when you go to another gym and you're I'm a blue belt under Mitch and Violent Hippie, and then you just get fucking steamrolled, that's embarrassing on me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to have that. And
and you shouldn't want it.
No, fuck no. I've already demoted 2 people.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you could
came
do that.
here. That came to our gym.
I didn't know you could demote people. I guess you do whatever you want.
Because they came here and were, wearing a higher level belt than I felt that they deserved. And, and I said, you're fine to keep that, but you're not going to be under me.
Yeah.
And if you want to be under me, this is where I think you're at. And, not being a dick.
Yeah, but just.
It's just it's totally up to you, because if you earned that from somebody else and they feel that you're that, then that's fine. You can keep that, but don't say that you're a Violent Hippie or whatever, you're whoever the fuck gave you that.
Yeah.
And, both guys have been super cool about it, and, and they're gonna be legit as fuck when they get, and it's gonna mean something to them more, now, because they're this is legit. I fucking earned this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And, so that was cool with all of our guys in the ceremony and stuff, but I don't want people to get, waiting for that announcement of the ceremony or something, and then no, it's just show up and fucking train, just show up and train, and and now people just get promoted randomly, But I was gonna say the other cool thing about the ceremonies is, because it is such a fucking big milestone, I would say, in your jiu-jitsu career, and you're working super hard for it and everything like that. It's cool to be able to have your family there to see it and stuff, and your friends and family. And so if you you guys all knew pretty much that you were going to get your blue belts by the time, because it's you're all 4-stripe white belts. Mm-hmm. You've been putting in the work, and it's all right, we're having a belt ceremony next month. Yeah. And it's all right. And then everybody's
plus you would
working
be
hard and
Garrett, Riley, Will, Taylor, make sure you come to the ceremony. Show up.
Yeah, everybody needs to be there.
Yeah.
And but I was wanting everybody in the gym to be there as well, because it's I want you guys to share that celebration.
Yeah, it was
with
cool.
each other.
It was very cool.
And so there are benefits to it, but again, no need to fucking make it a paid thing.
Yeah.
I think that's taking advantage of your students.
No, I agree.
So not something I do, but so I think I'm gonna, I've been promoting people randomly since, but honestly, we don't have enough people consistently training right now to do I feel
big ceremony.
Yeah, to even have a justified.
You can
ceremony.
give me my blue belt right now. I mean,
Are you a white belt?
I'm just kidding.
White belt still? I feel like we're harder. Harder.
I thought this proved something.
It proved nothing.
It proves you're a champion.
That's
I am a
stripe
fucking
out of the
champion.
4 you need. 1 for an injury.
Yeah.
You got 3 stripes.
I can take this stripe off and put it on my belt.
But look, you've been competing regularly.
Coming every day.
You've been not every day.
Sometimes twice a day.
You came twice today, and you train. How many times a week would you say you train?
It depends, but 4 to 5.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. That's a good
There's a
amount.
lot of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
A lot of
I
jiu-jitsu.
did that when I
Sometimes
was
twice a day.
22. It was pretty awesome.
Well, I'm 31 and I've
Now
got
I
the body
can't.
of a champion.
Yeah,
And-
obviously, I don't.
And Rachel, before she even was training here officially, you were taking private lessons.
Yep.
You know, and yeah, you've really.
And I've been working on my wrestling.
You definitely have been taking it very serious. Your demeanor doesn't always say that, but like when you're. But like you take notes, you show up, even if you're late every day.
So what's your
Right.
end goal with jiu-jitsu? You want your black belt?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here for the
black belt? Yeah.
I'm here for the journey.
It's cool. I want my black belt.
She's
That'd
in.
be
She's
cool.
all in.
Yes, yeah. So I actually,
I want to be a young black belt. I think that'd be cool. Like 26.
I mean, I wonder who's going to be the first person I promote to black belt.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. Maybe this
I-
guy. Did you give Brandon his brown belt?
Now Cody
Brandon's a black
Cody
belt
doesn't
now.
train enough.
I don't
to get-
train very often at all, to be honest.
Because he lives out at my other property at the Promised Land, and we're going to be doing violent hippie
Jiu-jitsu
retreats
retreats,
there
yeah.
at some point, and so we're going to get some. We have jujitsu mats out there, and we have rolled out there,
Yeah, we've done a little bit. We should
Yeah.
like Nicole stuff.
but we'll definitely be doing more jujitsu out there.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, there's an Adopt-A-Cop affiliate in Greensboro, but it's still an hour and 10 minutes away. Not that plenty of people travel for jiu-jitsu. I could get in more jiu-jitsu, but I figure if I'm on the road, just come all the way here, kind of thing like that. Like, if I want to spend 2 hours going to jiu-jitsu, or can I just come down here?
Jiu-jitsu camp.
Yep. And I try to do one every day for the week I'm here. I've done 2, but then I'm just like dog shit at work, and I can't do anything. So
I feel like there's so many different.
You come from wrestling practice. Right?
Yeah.
Do you still coach there?
I do. I haven't been in there yet this season though. Work's been crazy, but it's slowing down, which is nice. Like pretty much.
it's hard coming from work.
It's not even that. It's just it's bad luck. Like if my guys are in the middle of a project, and all my guys do jujitsu here. Like like Will works with me, Daniel works with me. Alex. I don't know if you know Alex,
Yeah.
but he comes here. He works with me. He's one of my climbers.
He's got the mullet.
And
Yeah.
I'm just going to be like, all right, guys, drag these limbs. I'm going to jiu-jitsu. Or like, I like to be the last one that leaves the lot when I'm running things. But,
I respect that.
and it's also just like having my full attention. Because after November time, like it'll slow down.
I like that. I think it's really cool that and I think that's what just the vibe of our gym. Like everyone gets along and everyone's like friends and shit. But like you guys are friends outside of that too.
Yeah.
And you work together.
Yeah, we're
So like
definitely
you guys all
Very
you
close.
guys all like grew up wrestling together
Mm-hmm.
and then like we're friends and then like all joined jujitsu, violent hippie at the same time.
And training together
Becoming
really
that.
brought a lot of us back to being really close again. Like I hadn't seen Daniel in probably a year and a half. Like we were good friends, but he like moved like 30 minutes away. And for a long time, for me anyways, when I was doing forestries, like I didn't work out. Like I didn't go to the gym. Like I did tree work 10 hours a day with no equipment. I was just exhausted. And then we all started doing jiu-jitsu together, and it was just like this awesome social life came back, like a lot of nostalgia too, of just like being in the room with each other. I'd been away from the sport for so long.
It's
I really
definitely
started.
a bonding
Yeah.
sport.
Absolutely. Especially when you're grinding towards goals. Like we all have been talking about Blue Belt Worlds all year, and it's like around the corner, and it's just like.
Yeah, and it's cool too. Like Riley and Taylor also work, or Taylor works for Riley. Or
Yeah,
helps him
he
with the
comes
mat-
out and helps him with the mad seasoning, and he's came out and helped me with big crane jobs a few times when I need an extra hand. I mean, it's definitely a good, like, just group we have of just like brothers. Through we like bleed together, we work together, we laugh together. It's cool.
Yeah,
It's cool.
and I clicked with all you guys right away. I
Yeah.
felt like, and especially you and I have a lot of banter.
Yeah.
Back and forth, and I like that because Cody and I are best friends, and nobody makes fun of me more than Cody does.
Yeah. What
You
my
know?
moment was with you is because at first I was a little bit intimidated by you. You're a big guy, and one day I just realized I was like, like bullshitting with Will, and he was telling me about how much he bullshitted when he was in the Army, and like how all everybody does is bullshit all day, like just banter with each other because you're bored and you're trying to get through bullshit. And I just was like, this mother was in the Navy for 10 years. Like, he's used to bullshit, and like he speaks my language. So the next day I came in and I started hitting you. Like just I don't remember what I said, just like some feelers out there, and you picked it right up. I was like, oh, this dude's a bullshitter too. Like, he likes to talk shit. This is cool. And then ever since then, the banter has just been nonstop.
Yeah, I just make fun of you nonstop.
Yeah,
and you make fun of me. And
I don't know why I'm so good at jiu-jitsu, and I'm just here all the time. And I'm the perfect student,
but
always putting the gi on.
No, that's funny.
I put the gi on more than you do.
Yeah, probably. I bet I
definitely do.
Oh, Garrett was going to Diego's for a while.
I went to Diego's once on my lunch break.
No.
I've seen that gym before.
I was going to Diego's just for the NoGi.
Yeah.
Just to go do NoGi.
Oh, I went.
Because we at first we only had NoGi like twice a week or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
And you told me Will was coming over. And
twice a week we were doing NoGi, and Garrett and Will and those guys were all more into NoGi, so they were training at Diego's more.
Primarily because I was
Diego's.
training for a comp that was
Diego's
NoGi. Cool. I like Diego's too.
Great
Sometimes
gym.
it's hard to understand him when he's screaming at me in Brazilian though. He's like, Porrada, show me you want to be champion. Show me.
Until you can speak 2 languages, you can't talk about someone not being able to understand
He's
them.
not making fun of him.
No,
He's just saying
I'm
it's
just,
hard to hear.
you know, I'm
Just
just saying
hard to
them.
because he's passionate. And he's passionate. What I like about him, I can be rolling, and I feel like just in the warm-up round in the gym, and he brings that same intensity to like if his student was in the finals. Like he's like screaming at me like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you not do this? And it's just like, Diego, I'm warming up, man. Like I'm not even sweating yet.
He's a cool like grappler to watch too.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
like
he's
real
very
fast
entertaining.
and real technical.
Diego's fun. He's got a fast pace. You know,
There's just some Brazilians in there, and they're all just like, the way they move is crazy. It's just like, they're just so strong, and it's just a very, that really like jerky gi style, you know, like they're like shaking you like this, and like just the way they move, and that's a big reason. Like, gosh, putting the gi on with those dudes, they're just grabbing my gi, and I just like, fuck, hard to fight grips.
You should wear the gi though.
I should. Okay. All right.
for
I'll
you.
throw it on more. And another thing.
Daniel wears the gi a lot. Daniel does both gi and
he
no
does
gi.
do both.
Out of all you
He does it the
wrestlers,
most,
he's the one that trains.
He
the
says
most.
he loves it.
Yeah.
Alex though,
and
is pretty good at NoGi. He cut his hand open. That's why he hasn't been in here. Alex.
Yeah.
He's good though.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good. He's way better at gi than he is NoGi. Not that he's bad at NoGi, but he's just really into NoGi. It's his fave.
Gi.
Yeah. He's really into gi. That's his favorite. He really prefers
I
it.
prefer the gi too.
It's fun. And, you know, I talk a lot of shit about it, but at the end of the day, it's so thick and hot. I get such a good workout when I wear it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sweating way harder than I would be. Like, I'm getting, like, my body to high temperature, and that feels good.
There's definitely, like, a satisfaction, like, when you take your gi off at the end of training and it's fucking just soaked in sweat.
A lot of laundry, too, with the gi, though.
Oh, my God.
How many gis do you have? Like, seriously.
Me? Hundreds.
Yeah. Hundreds?
I mean,
Yeah.
I have.
See,
But
I had
even-
two.
but before I owned an apparel company and all that. Like, I had 5 or 6 gis.
Yeah.
Because I was training a lot, and and it's easier to just do laundry once a week.
Yeah.
You know, and throw.
Do it all the time.
Throw
I have
all
a
your
lot of
gis in
rash
at one
guards
time.
and wrestling outfits and stuff.
Well, wrestling outfits are like fucking sweatpants, and it's like sweatpants tucked into your socks, and
Yep.
you know,
You get a good sweat going.
and then some.
It's funny because now I just like I see the
baggy
kids
shirt.
doing it, and I'm just like, God, I used to be so into that, and like now I just hate the feeling of just being in like I would just go work out in something like this and be dripping in sweat, and just like, dude, I hated cutting weight.
It is good to get used to that feeling of sweating.
I do feel like wrestling has really, just in general, helped me be able to monitor like my internal heat. Like I know when I'm overheating because they used to keep that room so fucking hot when you're cutting weight, and then you're working out hard in like sweats and a hoodie.
I was cold tonight when we started. Like, I was like, oh, man, I kind of want to roll in the hoodie.
Yeah.
But then, like, as soon as, like, I did one round, I was like, oh, it feels so good in here.
So
I wrestled yesterday, and I started in, like, sweatpants and a hoodie, and I, took that off real
It's
fast.
like essential for me, like, warming
I'm
up.
still
Like, I
swimming.
want to be warm. Like, I want to be hot. Like, I don't want to just do, like, some forward rolls and, like, touch my fucking toes. I want to be, like, dripping in sweat. I feel like another big thing I wanted to talk to you about is I feel like people, like the warming up culture in jiu-jitsu, pre-match and at practice is so different than wrestling. Like before a wrestling match, my coach, when I was a sophomore
you're
in
like
high school.
dripping sweat.
Yeah. I mean, I was
It's like a full-on workout.
I was not good at wrestling, and I had kids starting over me that were really good.
You're
And
still not.
I'm great. I'm potentially the best ever. If you look at my pedigree, I made it to regionals when there was no conference. Pretty big deal.
My brother
not a big
won
deal.
regionals.
Did he? That's
Yeah.
cool.
No, actually, I'm lying. He actually got second. I think Mikey Holcomb, my boxing coach, beat him.
Oh, really?
He at least beat him in the districts. Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure he beat him in the finals of the regionals
My friends
too.
are really good wrestlers. I just get to hang out with them, and everyone assumes I'm a really good wrestler. Like, you know,
the way,
it's
dude.
sweet. Like people like see Taylor and Riley at these comps, and Daniel. And
You
they're
could
like,
just buy black belts.
This guy Garrett
Yeah.
must be a great wrestler, and it's just like high crotch. Sweet. I'm simple. I'm a very simple wrestler.
Me too. I do snap down, double leg, and single leg.
I actually feel like my jujitsu, like my catch wrestling, like jujitsuing is so much better than just like my wrestling. Like all these dudes, like Taylor, Daniel, and Riley, if I put on my wrestling shoes and we did like a folk style match, oh my God, they would tech me. They would so embarrass me. But with jujitsu, it's just different. I just have a knack for it a little more.
I smash all of our guys in wrestling, but I'm
Yeah.
just way bigger than them.
You are.
So it doesn't.
Dude, I feel like Will Haladina could give you some good wrestling rounds. I feel like Taylor could too.
No, I'm too big for Taylor.
You think you're too big for Taylor?
Taylor's he's been able to take me down.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, he's like 150 or something.
Yeah, he
like
is.
that.
God, he's so damn good.
Yeah.
He's real good. He
I
won
know, all those
ADCC
guys.
when we
If
went.
they were
Yeah.
if they were my size, they would fucking crush me.
Yeah.
Someone was talking
wrestling.
about Taylor
I-
the other day. I think they said they wrestled Taylor in the finals of maybe like districts. It was like Taylor's senior year.
I love
yeah.
giving Taylor shit about wrestling.
Yeah.
Just because he's super competitive.
Yeah.
and he
Oh my
takes it
God,
really
yeah.
serious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
he
God.
takes it really
Oh my God. Like
seriously.
seriously, I would have. I'm sorry, Taylor. I'm about to say this, but I would have thought that Taylor was like phone out like gay. When I saw him at ADCC, Jamie, like I could have like been in front of him and like showing him my tits, and he would just be like.
Oh yeah, he don't
Like he was so
don't play.
focused, like, and he was almost an assoul. He was legitly an asshole.
Oh, yeah,
he
so
even
you gotta stay out of his
apologized.
way,
He even
yeah.
apologized after. He was like, I was being so nice, like I would videotaped his matches, and I was like, oh yeah, you need, like, I was just being like a nice friend.
I
and he
really
was-
don't get that, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm super competitive,
Dude,
but I can.
it was like
That's just
that.
Taylor's temperament. I
Yeah.
always tell him he reminds me of a
Samson
pit
was
bull.
like that.
Yeah.
But you
too.
get into like a pace and be like, I'm pacing, you know, like right before a fight or something.
But are
and
you
then-
still gonna be
And then
rude?
Rachel's
Like,
like, hey, how are you? And you're just like, I'm
what
about to
I've
punch you
realized
guys.
about
no, I
myself-
wasn't like that
No,
though.
I
I
was
wasn't
always-
like that.
I was always able to,
so?
definitely just.
I don't do good with that. I
don't
have to
know.
really work
But
myself
I think
up.
that's from the SEAL teams too.
Yeah.
Just like because you have to just like on off, on
Yeah.
off, on off. Like shoot, don't shoot, don't shoot, don't.
Yeah.
You know.
I could have walked by him naked, and he would not have batted an eye.
Yeah, he would have just been like
In the
"Ooh."
zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
He
and
won't
honestly,
play. He don't
honestly,
play.
a lot of guys I think made me feel like that. Like ADCC, there's a lot of good-looking
Yeah.
guys walking around, and I'm like, I could have got undressed, and no one would have fucking looked at me.
But
like,
that's just that champion mindset though. Like you're there, all you fucking care about is winning. You're not thinking about losing. You're not thinking about the people watching. You're not thinking that chick's hot.
Yeah, you can look at naked chick.
like you
After
can
you get your gold
you
medal,
can
you know what I mean?
whatever. I mean,
I think you just wanted Taylor to look at your boobs. is what I'm hearing.
no, I didn't know. I said the whole
She's just
room, like
offended.
literally
Just
all those.
offended that
Taylor, I need you to please pay more attention to Rachel's boobs.
I was offended by the whole room at ADCC. Like I said, all the guys are
Nobody is
super hot,
looking at my tits right
and
now.
no one's
Ref,
checking me
What is
out.
happening?
Like,
I have a champion body.
Yeah.
Does no one see this?
have
Walk
you
up to
seen
Taylor.
my tits?
You know I've only drank Dr. Pepper for the last 6 years. It's like, leave me alone.
All the referees just kept watching the matches. It was so lame.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
I think all these people are gay.
Yeah.
Like seriously, I might as well like. There's a dancing competition like downstairs. Maybe I can find some guys down there.
That's hilarious. That's
and
so
find more
funny.
straight guys at the cheerleading comp.
Yeah. Well, we need to talk to MASF and get an official apology worked out to Rachel. Not enough people.
I will talk to Mo about that.
I was not sexually harassed one time at the ADCC New Jersey.
So
Open.
professional.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of bullshit organization this is.
Gay.
Yeah.
Gay.
That's so funny.
More like the gay DCCs.
Jiu-jitsu's gay as fuck. I'm going to go do Muay Thai.
Oh
That's
God.
funny. That's good.
It's funny.
No, but it's all a part of the mindset. I mean, just locked in. Not thinking about getting hurt, not thinking about losing, just really, waiting for your name.
Meanwhile, when I had that first super fight, Will's like, you gotta flip the switch. Like that Rachel you are, like leave her behind. Like I need you 100% focused.
What's your opinion on people calling jiu-jitsu matches a fight?
We talked about this last time.
No, it's
not.
I don't think it's a fight. I think it's a match. Yeah, it's a match.
But
Which nothing wrong with that. You have a boxing match.
You interrupted.
Oh, I'm
Rachel.
sorry.
But anyway, I'm standing right there. I think it was like waving to like Jen or like Katie or something. I'm like, hey, and like seconds from going on, and Will's like, Rachel, told you, like, get in the zone. I'm like, oh, okay. And then like I still had no idea what was going on until I went out there and the girl did a collar tie, and I was like, whoa, this is what they meant.
Rachel's over there looking at the chicks' tits on the sideline.
Yeah, right. Jiu-jitsu's gay.
That's great. It's great. I've had experiences like that too, where I felt like I wasn't worked up enough, and you just never know what you're gonna get.
Or my first
jiu-jitsu
super
guys.
fight.
Like I don't know if this dude's about to like really be a competitor,
Oh
or
no,
like,
you definitely don't. Like,
or it's just like, and then sometimes they look like the biggest scrub, and you're like, what
And
the
they're good as
hell?
shit.
Like,
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is so unassuming.
Yeah.
Like, guys that you think like, man,
Are
this
so
dude looks
good.
like a fucking badass or something, and they're just like, and or just don't really know what they're doing, and then dudes that look totally unassuming are just fucking monsters.
And then some guys just don't fucking get tired. Like they just like, some dudes gas out quick, like super good for like 2.5 minutes. Like first 2 minutes, you're like, this guy has put it in on me right now. Like, I don't know if I'm going to win. And then 30 seconds goes by and they're just
giving up.
just tired.
They do their best.
I guess a lot of times it's like I know like my endurance can go longer, but it's just like can I wait, like not do anything too stupid to like why, like
that just comes with experience.
Yeah.
For me, it's all about just positive self-talk during my match. Like if I'm in a bad position, you're good here.
I don't do any
Yeah,
of
that
I
honestly,
do. I'm just
that's-
in my head.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
I'm
really
good.
do. That's like a
Good.
really good strategy.
I don't do
A
that.
lot
if
of
not, I
times
get
I say fuck
frustrated.
it. Like
Yeah.
I'll be like in a bad position. I'm like, oh fuck it. Like just put.
That's how I really
here's
judge
my
my
back.
matches.
Choke me so I can tap out.
Like, I get really upset if I lose a match and I feel like
has
my
a-
self-talk was wrong.
That's her champion mindset.
But I am a
Like,
fucking
fuck.
champion. When I win, I will fucking win.
Yeah, that's great.
When I win, I win.
But if I lost, I just said fuck it.
You lose like a champion.
I also lose like a champion.
See, but
But
like,
that is good though, because
No, it's
some people like they can't handle it, and I think that is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And I bet Taylor's like that.
Saw a lot of guys
I
cry
I
at
armbarred him one time. I
ADCC.
think he was mad at me in the room for like 3 weeks. I don't submit Taylor very
Yeah.
often.
Saw a lot of guys cry at ADCC.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of people get hurt at it. There's a picture of me, both my knees fully iced, just like
Yeah, like
just couldn't walk.
And Samson was like that too.
Yeah.
He was definitely like a sore loser.
Yeah.
because he's like super competitive.
Competitive, yeah.
And but I've talked with him about
Mm-hmm.
this because like his dad was also like. Because I asked him like, what the fuck is it? Where's this coming from? Why
Yeah.
are you acting like this? And he's like, he said like, basically he felt like if he lost and was just like, I lost, then it's like you don't care.
yeah.
So it's like I want to show I care.
Yeah.
And like I care.
That's
a lot.
interesting. I've never thought about it like that.
And and his dad was like, his dad's like the type that's just like, I love Mark. He's so funny, but he's just like, Samson, go fucking sucker punch that guy. And I'm like the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I'm like, Samson, go, if you lost, fucking man the fuck up.
Go shake his
Go over there,
hand.
shake his
Yeah.
hand, and
Sportsmanship's important.
Sportsmanship's so
And
important.
it's not that important.
Yeah,
Even if
no.
it is, it's not.
I feel like
and like you doesn't mean you don't care.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean
A lot of times guys attach their identity to
maturity.
it.
You know, that's maturity.
like
But-
if I lose, I'm not good at jiu-jitsu. Alex Harnold.
You shouldn't attach your identity to anything.
Yeah.
Like what you do for a living doesn't define you. You know, you have a multiple different arrays that define you. So
Especially because it's such a complex sport, anything
I get
can
it.
happen. And I really do believe there's nobody that truly can't lose. And you go on the mat, like anything can happen. That's why you have the match.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And people just get so caught up in I lost, I can't beat that guy. It's like
You
a lot
give
of
it your
times it's
all.
just a few inches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one position goes differently. They made one mistake, and I truly believe whether you win a match or you lose a match, like it's not definitive at all of like how good you are. Of course, you know, we have to reference that for progress purposes, but
I liked what you said earlier, Mitch, because I felt like I was talking about when I first started rolling with Jin, how I'd get demolished all the time, and then after I started, I'd get a little bit better, and it was like the little wins, and then it was like, you know, I submitted her for the first time like last week, and I got so excited, but Mitch
what'd you
described
catch
it
with?
a north-south choke
That's
in the
cool.
gi.
In the gi.
In the gi.
In the gi.
But that's my favorite choke. But I couldn't. You didn't pass out to the north-south choke today.
I tried to let her
Yeah.
choke me out with it.
But
she
Mitch-
struggled just to choke you out. That was like,
Yeah, second time.
Mitch described it as like a jiu-jitsu match being like, you know, a war, and there's so many little battles throughout the match, you know, where you might win some of them, you might lose some of them, but it's who wins the entire war, you know. And
You gotta
take those little
win the
wins,
battles
like, you
to
know,
ultimately win the war.
maybe you got demolished by this guy, the first time you had a match with him, but then the second time you had a match with him, you had like more wins in those little battles. You're that much closer to beating the guy, you know.
just not giving up. Being
Not-
able to be
not
in a
giving
bad
up.
position.
Not giving up is
and being
huge.
confident you're going to get out and just being patient.
I will never give up. Giving up is for pussies.
You just said if you get someone takes your back, you're like, just hurry up and choke.
I said I'll say fuck it. All right, but
never
if
give
it
up.
really comes,
But I'll say fuck it.
if it really comes down
I
to
will
it,
say-
I will not give up.
I've been in chances. I've been in situations
If he
in
dies,
matches
he dies.
where like I can't breathe and they're cranking on me weird, but like I'm
this is
awake.
just
I know I'm not going to
uncomfortable.
go out. And I'm just like, fuck, I wish they would just sink this fucking choke.
Right?
I won't let them do it, but I'm like, just kill me. Like, kill me with
No,
valor.
I feel
I'm
the
done.
same way.
Can't
Sucks.
you just knock me out in one punch?
Yeah.
Right?
You have to punch my face all day.
Like, I want to die with valor. Like, I want to know I tried my hardest, but like, fuck, I wish you would just choke me out right now. This sucks. Like, I do
Right.
not want to be here anymore.
All right.
Gosh,
All right, guys. Well, any final words, final things? You want to shout out your Instagrams, business, and nothing?
Ray K. Fiskus is my Instagram, but you were supposed to ask me a question. You remember about my tattoo?
Oh,
And
yeah.
This is like CNN.
This is a really good closing. All right, this is a good
All
closing.
right, let's hear about your
because
tattoo.
well,
Rachel,
well,
do you have any tattoos?
well, it's funny you ask. I have a horseshoe tattoo, and it's a funny story because growing up, I always wanted a horseshoe tattoo, and I wanted it to have a horseshoe, and then the words around it: "Enjoy the ride, appreciate the journey." And my dad helped me out with college, and he said he wasn't going to help me out if I got a tattoo. So I got the tattoo on my ass, and I was like, well, I definitely can't enjoy the ride anywhere on my
man.
ass. It just wouldn't go. Anyway,
That'd be hilarious.
But I
if
was
you
thinking
would've
about it
got
today.
though.
It would have no.
And not thinking about it, and then like
and then
maybe
been
you get
like,
a
oh
boyfriend,
shit,
and they're
yeah.
like,
They're like, yeah. Anyway, I feel like the same thing. Like I never thought I would have another passion, like I did with horses. But it's like the same thing. Like enjoy the role, appreciate the journey.
yeah.
So
Is
hopefully,
that what it says?
No, I'm just saying it. I mean, I feel the same way. It could go. Maybe I should get a tattoo now of like
On your other ass cheek or something?
No, not on my other ass cheek. I can get it on my wrist now. My dad doesn't care.
There you go.
He found out about my tattoo. I was my junior year. We were tailgating, and one of my sorority sisters were like, "Well, Fiskus has got a tattoo on her ass," and my dad goes, "Wait, what?" He was
man.
cool though.
Snitches.
Yeah, snitch. But anyway.
Man.
No, I just thought about that because, your license plate, ass man.
Oh.
And to get the attention back on me.
Me and my ass.
me and my hot bod.
Nobody cares,
looks
But
at
Rachel.
you.
nobody
Yeah.
fucking cares.
Nobody cares, Rachel.
No,
God,
it's
is you
fucking
still
gay.
talking?
Hey.
They're all gay. Jiu-jitsu's gay.
All right,
hilarious.
cool. Well,
J-Rod, you're gay. For sure.
why didn't you look at me, J-Rod?
Like, I would have showed you my tits, J-Rod and Nikki. Both of you
hilarious.
guys are gay.
Super gay.
You're gay.
That's I think that's your clickbait for the podcast.
there we go.
The Rod brothers gay? Question mark, question mark.
Good
Can't
Perfect.
confirm or deny.
I was trying to bite your jerky.
All right. Let's end this here. All right. Thanks for tuning in to the Violent Hippie Podcast, Jiu-Jitsu edition, whatever this is named. We don't know. But hope you all enjoyed the show, and thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Peace.
Cool.
Thanks for tuning in to the Violent Hippie Podcast. Remember, be kind or else.